Hey everybody, it's Chuck. Welcome back. Well, here it is, Sunday afternoon. It is the 28th of April, and wouldn't you know, we got a new drop of software, 12.3.6. So the ADAS drivers were testing a few days ago, and I was really hoping this was going to be 12.4, but it is not. FSDBeta 12.3.6 here, and we're still on the 2024.3 build. So those of you waiting for the full self-driving trial, unfortunately we're not on a branch to get you there with the .8 being your requirement. So perhaps 12.4 will be your first opportunity to do that. But in any case, this build looks like it's got auto park included in it. And if I go to the release notes, hopefully that won't take too long to pull up. It looks like this is a 2020 Model Y with ultrasonic sensors, and we have not had the new parking assist stack. And if you look here, Auto Park Update is listed here, and it basically just talks about it looks like it's the better visualizations of the Auto Park. But this is not high fidelity park assist for the vision only cars. So this is just like the new stack, the new improved parking spaces, and apparently it's working pretty well. But the way you can know that is if you go in here to settings and go to autopilot. I do not have a slider here to go between Tesla Vision and Standard. So I don't have that in here. So because I'm using an Intel-based MCU with the Atom chip and ultrasonic sensors, I am basically forced into this. I don't have high fidelity vision because I guess the Ryzen processor is required for that. So in any case, this will be my first impressions drive. We'll do some talking. It's about a 40-minute drive. For those of you that are familiar with it, I'm going to do the exact same run. And let's see what we see here, and we'll chat along the way. But I'm glad it landed on this Sunday so I can go out and get a drive. You know, being 4:45 on a Sunday, we don't really have as much traffic as we might have kind of around the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock hour. But let's see what happens here. All right, so here's my unprotected left-hand turn. It's mapped correctly. I'm going to go ahead and slave it over. A couple cars coming out of the median. There's a good stop. Let's see where the creep goes. Ooh, pretty aggressive creep. And it's clear, left and right. So it got a roller here. But, hey, it did fine. That was good. So coming all around and easy peasy. So like I said, we're not going to get much traffic. But the approach to the creep was good. I didn't have any issues with it. Obviously, we didn't test any of its decision making. If I do get some time, I will try to do an unprotected left-hand turn video dedicated to that during rush hour to try to really to see if we got any improvements, because it was definitely a regression on the previous version. All right, we've got our typical mapped U-turn here. We'll see what the traffic scenario is. We had a fail on it last time, mostly because of traffic and I think an interacting car coming out of this other intersection. Got a little bit of traffic here. I hope it does not go for this gap. Oh, it sees that car. It was rolling like it was going to go for it. Now we have another smallish gap here, and if it does it aggressively, it'll be fine. Commit. Come on, give me some. Okay, that actually wasn't bad. I'm going to give that that was an 8 out of 10. That was not a 10 out of 10 because I would have gone a little bit quicker because of an oncoming car. I perhaps would have even waited for that oncoming car because it was completely clear behind it. But of course, I don't think the car can see that far. So the gap it chose, it just had to do it. And it aggressively kind of went for it. And I felt a little bit of a boost trying to finish it up. So that's good. Wow. What a crazy week it has been, everybody. Got a yellow light here. Traffic in front of me is going for it. And I've heard some people say it was aggressively braking here. That was all regen. We'll see what it does on the yellow lights if we hit any more of those. I've heard from others testing that it was pretty aggressively stomping on brakes to stop for a yellow. Nice acceleration curve there. That felt really good. Kind of threw me in the back of my seat. Straight up to the speed limit plus a little bit. Let's see, we got auto max here, so we're going to go a few miles an hour over. So back to what I've been doing. So I had a work trip over to Berlin, Germany, believe it or not, presenting a keynote presentation on a trajectory-based optimization solution that we use at my airline. But I built in an extra half a day to go to the Giga Berlin factory. And wouldn't you know, I was able to coordinate a tour of the factory kind of at the last minute. I had a little bit of time, and thank you to anyone from Giga Berlin that participated in that and made it happen. I know that my flight schedule kind of got me there around 5:45 p.m. and perhaps it was the end of your day, but you were definitely committed, and you gave us a nice, great hour-and-a-half tour. If I think about it, I'm going to insert a couple pictures here from some Tesla Universe friends that met us there, and even the picture inside the factory. It was great. It definitely had the same vibe that Giga Austin does. You know, Giga Berlin, of course, is using many of the same manufacturing processes for the Model Y, but just kind of with that German kind of, I don't know, efficiency flair. The outside of the grounds is still under construction. The train station is done. It all looks really, really great. Okay, we have it looks like it's going to be a protected left-hand turn here because of the traffic signal. So anyway, let me wrap that up on Giga Berlin. Thank you to everyone that participated. It was a fabulous week, and I'm really, really proud to have been able to be there and to see it firsthand. So I've got 3 factories down. I've been to Fremont, I've been to Austin, and I've been to Berlin. So right now there's only one left, and not sure when I'm going to get out there, but I'd love to put it on the bucket list. All right, so now we're on Birkenhead for the narrow road situation, and it looks like we will have an oncoming car, perhaps not this one. This intersection just requires a stop, a creep, and it's creeping, it really needs to lean out, and I'm leaning forward. It's safe, but feel this, it's just a painful creep. This is the B-pillar problem. Okay, and now it's in the road and going, and here's an oncoming car, and let's see, continuing to be aggressive and use the full right-hand side of the road there, slowing down for the speed bump perfectly, went, wow, all the way down to 8 miles an hour. Gosh, guys, do you remember when we were hitting that at 17? So that was great. Obviously, that oncoming car might have had a little bit to do with it. I'll just leave that rear view up so you can see how it's using that edge of the road there. This intersection does not need as much of a, whoa, gosh, stop. Oh, wow. Hey, you know what? That was a good example. It reacted to that oncoming car, but it had an acceleration curve in there, but the reaction time actually was pretty good. That gave me some confidence. Okay, well, we hit that one at 17 and continued to slow to 13 afterwards. So that one wasn't great. I'm gonna hit the snapshot button just to record that one. So what was happening there is I was creeping out. The car kind of committed, but there was a very fast car that was approaching a beam. I saw it, the car saw it also at about the same time, but the car reacted with the necessary reaction time, I think, to be safe. All right, this is an unnecessary stop here. So it's stopping in this median unnecessarily, unless it was just doing some sort of thinking it was a stop sign or acting like it was a stop sign. One more speed bump here. Let's see if it sees it in time. And it's slowing down. Okay, it got down to 17 there. Not bad. All right, the next obstacle in the obstacle course is this suicide lane turn. It has been fixed for the most part in version 12. It does kind of go into the suicide lane and come out a little bit, but that is exactly what is being mapped here. Okay, we're clear to the left, and we do have cars coming from the right, but we don't have forever, so it should go right about now. Okay, that was good, and it should just roll all the way through. That was good. Okay, so see, it did not actually... editing my trip real quick to finish that, and now it should turn to the left here. So it didn't use the suicide lane like it used to on version 11.4.9. All right, so this should be a roller here. It's unprotected. Oh, he just went from a turn lane and jumped out. That was an interesting dynamic. But it still wasn't an issue. The timing of that would have been more interesting if it happened about 2 or 3 seconds later. Okay, so this is a good example of marked lane, 2-lane roads. The speed limit is 30, but you can see it's comfortable all the way up to 40 miles an hour here. This is kind of your rural side road, mailboxes on the edge, driveways on the edge. It has plenty of room. You can kind of look in the rear view there. The white line and the yellow mark lines are adequate. See if it slows down much in this turn. Not too much. Yeah, now this feels good. I wouldn't expect this to need much help. It was pretty solid before. Some people talk about the auto speed and how it needs, this is definitely a personal choice. You know, if you were the one living on this street, you probably want everybody going 30 to 32 miles an hour. If you're probably anyone else, you're probably wanting to go around 40. Now see here on this blind curve, it's gone all the way down to 32. So it's interesting how it's making its choices. I don't know if we'll be able to figure out any logic there, if it has to do with oncoming cars or not. Yeah, well, that was easy peasy. So the next part, we're going to be heading to, need to edit the trip again. I'm getting better at these waypoints, but it's still kind of a chore. I wish we could drive through waypoints instead of stop and destinations, but I know we can't have everything we want. Okay, so now we're going through this over the railroad tracks. Still probably not going to have any visualizations on the railroad tracks, but it just has been slowing down for it like a regular speed bump in the last few versions. So I don't, you know, Elon has been talking about version 12.4 and version 12.5 that obviously has got some significant model changes, talking about a couple weeks of training time, no more compute constraints here. So you did see the markings for the railroad there. Street lights here. Let's see if it slows all the way down. So it's treating it like a nice speed bump. No problems there. And when I saw the 8S drivers, you know, testing in my neighborhood again, I was like, oh, we have another release imminent. And I just didn't think we were going to continue doing these point releases on 12.3, because especially with the FSD trial out there, you know, it feels like there's a whole lot of potential customers that are stuck on the 2024.8 branch. So we got some interesting dynamics with oncoming cars, some pedestrians not on my side of the road, but the car definitely gave a little bit of a yield to all that. But now that we passed them, I'm still going 20, which feels a little bit slow. Like right now, I'm thinking about tapping the accelerator. I'm gonna let it do its thing because I don't have anybody behind me, but yeah, so the auto speed after something like the VRUs went by ought to be picking up here. Okay, so this is what I think people are talking about when they don't like the Auto Max. It's like either too far up or too far down. This is a really wide road too. This 90-degree turn, it's acted differently in the past too. It's almost treated it like a stop sign. This time it's rolling it just fine. No blinkers, that's all good. I think it used a blinker one time not too long ago. I'm mixing my versions up. But anyway, back to version 12.4. I think that throwing in an auto park change, which we have not seen yet, but I've seen on the internet already, and we talked about it at the beginning of the video with the selector button, that's pretty uncommon in the past to throw onto a point release like this. So it's a little bit confusing with the build release logic that perhaps they're using to throw in a function like that on a point release. It also probably says it's been ready for a long time. The 12.4 branch is about something completely different, and perhaps they just you know, had a decision point of putting it in now that it's ready. Maybe it's been you know, in the background for a while now, but they just finally released it. That's my thought. I'm glad it's out here. You know, it looks like without high fidelity vision assist, it's essentially just better graphics. Maybe there's a little bit of a newer algorithm that's able to reach spots that are a little bit further away. Maybe the selection logic is just a little bit better, so you can select spots a little bit differently. Those are some thoughts. We'll do a couple of those down at Memorial Park and just see what happens. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but there is a police car up here with flashing lights. And just to show you on the visualization, there's nothing about flashing lights or anything on these vehicles right now. Not much to say there. Yeah, I think, you know, the actual Smart Summon and some of these other things that Elon's talked about in these later builds, hopefully that's what's coming in these 0.4, 0.5 releases for version 12 that we're expecting. He's even teased that it should be called version 13 and should be called version 14. He said that so many times in the past. I think that, I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt, but maybe it's a little bit of a testament to their naming logic doesn't have much sense if they're not using major builds with major functionalities to actually change to new branches. Okay, small little traffic circle here. We've got a yield. We should roll. Okay, aggressively stopped as that Jeep entered. That was actually a good timing. The Jeep took it. It's a one-laner. We waited. It felt like a That was me, I think, with my steering wheel tension. Actually, accidentally disengaged. That was the second time I felt like its reaction time was pretty good. That I might have had to disengage, but it reacted quick enough. So that was really good. So should be taking a right-hand turn here. And edit this trip again. And coming up on the S-curve, and then going to go through Avondale. This time of day, Avondale might be pretty busy. We'll see how that looks. Maybe lots of pedestrians out today, walkers. No issues here on the S-curve. Looks like it's holding right at the speed limit. Yep. No issues here. Yeah, there's been a lot of clips that have kind of been posted on X of some folks driving previous versions of 12.3. I think most of them I'm seeing are on 12.34 or 12.35 for some of them. Some people are kind of posting some corner cases and some things that it's just not doing very well. I thought I'd want to just talk a little bit about, you know, I like mistakes that are very repeatable and that happen every single time, because that gives me confidence we can go fix something. I'm very uncomfortable with problems that are random in nature or just bizarrely happen. And I'm mostly concerned about that because of the nature of this end-to-end neural network on how to fix issues that are not repeatable. Good situation with a guy on a scooter jutting out there. It didn't really overreact. It looks like we've got a lead car now, so we just got a lot of traffic, a lot of parked cars, some pedestrians walking around, but it's behaving just fine. Obviously with a lead car that's keeping us at 15. So my point is I am a little concerned with some of the things I've seen that version 12 does occasionally. Not that they can't continue to add data and continue to train, but as an engineer trying to solve a specific issue, if you can't duplicate it, sometimes it's hard to fix it. Okay, backing out over here, unnecessary for me to stop. It almost acted like there was a pedestrian there. I don't not like what it did. I would have continued to slow roll it, but that was a very cautious reaction to that car backing up. Obviously, it was calculating a trajectory, and it just slowed down for it. Actually, it completely stopped for it. Anyway, just to finish up the point, I think that we're going to have to keep a close eye on some of these corner cases that people are finding that it's just randomly doing something bizarre. And hopefully, we can add data to those sets or something will continue to whittle them away. But that's the probabilistic nature of the way this is kind of solving driving. There isn't code to go fix. It's just about data to add that would perhaps give the model the right weights to make the right choice in some of these scenarios. If you study AI models at all, and more from the white hat hacker angle, you know, there's a lot of academic stuff going on these days about simple, bizarre ways to trick these models that perhaps the human mind might not normally think of, but somebody wanting to feed the model just enough information to confuse it in a certain way that it gives an unexpected outcome. That's what I'm talking about. A lot more to learn and watch on this subject, especially with inference inside of a car with this sort of a system. But the outcomes from the neural nets that they're building here, you know, are based on the data they feed it. And sometimes it sees a scenario that's just kind of quirky enough that it doesn't know what to do. So that's kind of where I'm like, what is our mitigation there? Obviously, while we're supervised, it's very easy to mitigate. When we're unsupervised, I'm not so sure yet. Okay, we got a protected green here. It should go to the right-hand lane. Immediately, perfectly did that. It's got its blinker for the right-hand lane there. And it should be just right on red, so it needs to come to a full stop, and then it should creep and go for it. There's the good full stop and a nice right on red. Yeah, so that was good. Very slow on that acceleration curve. Once it committed to the right, it should have gone up a little bit faster, I think. Not sure what it was pausing for. Anyway, enough on that subject about the edge cases. I think, you know what, I've been driving this car for 4 years now on these builds, and there's always something to talk about with regards to how it behaves. But generally, it's doing amazing. I mean, here I haven't disengaged once yet. Haven't tapped the accelerator once yet. It's a light traffic day, but it's functionally doing it. It's giving us a lot to talk about, but nothing. I haven't seen anything mind-blowing yet either. Oh, big pothole there. So there's confirmation that we don't have pothole action yet. You can really feel those potholes on the Model Y. The suspension is so stiff. Pedestrian here with the dog on the right, not moving, not identified blue, but she was right there at the edge that I bet if she'd have taken a step forward, the car would have reacted. Yeah. Slowing down for the lead cars here primarily. Pedestrians up here on the sidewalk off to the right, very clearly mapped. All right, then we got a green light, and here we are at Memorial Park. Pedestrians here on the corner again, but they are stopped. Never turned them blue, but they crossed right behind me. Okay, so now what I need to do. Oh, what's it doing? Okay, let me see. Did my destination see it? Okay, it kind of wanted to turn into the park there. It has never done that in the past. Not that it's incorrect, because the park is the center here, but I was expecting it to go to the end of the blue line. That could be my fault on just the route, but I am going to use this portion of the drive to do an auto park scenario. Because right here on the river, we've got a lot of parking spots. And here you can see on my screen, these little arcs that I get right when I come right near a car. Those are my ultrasonic sensors. If you have a vision-only car, you don't get those arcs measuring your actual distance. Now, I do have a car right behind me that I'm going to let get out of the way here, go around me, so I can do an auto park test for you guys. And let's see what we get here. So right here on the river, there's usually a few spots. We'll see if there's any openings today. All right, there is one right here. Let's see if it changes a little. Ah, there it is. So there's the new visualization. I slowed down to, let me see how many miles an hour it takes to make them go away. See, this car right in front of me is parking in one right now too. He did a nice job. There's 6, there's 5 miles an hour it's showing. So now what you can do here, see how the P is there? Now, interesting how there's 3 spots right here that hadn't identified them yet. But I'm gonna go ahead and tap one that doesn't have a P on it. See how you can tap them without the P? That's a new feature. You used to not be able to do that. Now, I don't think it can get to that one because I'm right abeam it, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Oh, look at that, it's pulling forward. That's awesome. So it used to not do that before. So I was able to pick a spot in front of me. It pulled forward to get the 3-point turn angle. Yeah, so this is just the new visualization. Obviously the new user interface allowing you to tap on the spaces. It's identifying the spaces much, much better. I really think this is a great addition, especially on a point release. I mean, who would have expected? I sure as heck wouldn't have on a point release. The first thing I thought when I got that build was that, you know, here we go. We got another just minor bug fix. Now I'm just going to slowly see when it, okay, see how it sees that spot? I'm going to select it way in front of me and I'm going to hit start. So it's 2 spots in front of me here, and it's got some gentleman here fishing on the curb. Okay, did you see it going towards that car? So it was not avoiding traffic in the scenario of auto park. It was going straight towards that oncoming car. So that is an interesting find there, that when in the auto park mode, it kind of isn't in the version 12 mode. It went straight towards that oncoming car where it should have just waited. Let me try this again. Spots in front of me. So the first one was definitely good. The second one was, that turn it was making for the 3-point turn, it was sort of treating it like it had all of the space, even though that other car was essentially had the right of way and we should have just paused there. So that sort of functionality is what scares me with actual Smart Summon or any of these summon sort of features. It needs to be completely aware of the traffic all around it, even when it's using one of these parking functions. So maybe the team can take a look at that and see if they see anything specific that perhaps I didn't. So there's the new parking visualization. Interesting, when I go back into drive, I'm still in the reverse camera mode, but I'm just going to go ahead and engage from the spot, pull out, and let's see if it'll find its way, and it should. Yep. Last time I went really, really slow on this corner. It's a narrow road, that's fine. So there you go. That's the new ultrasonic, and I have the Intel Atom chip MCU2. Does not have the high fidelity park assist. Oh, what's it doing? Okay. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why it was going that way. It's following a route down a little alley when I just wanted to go to the stop sign that it's always gone on. So that was my fault, but I don't know why it would have wanted to go down that tiny little alley versus join the main road here. Okay, we do have a pedestrian here who has the right of way. Didn't even turn them blue. Maybe because we were at the stop sign. Okay, we are clear left and clear right, so it should be able to go. It shouldn't hesitate too much. There we go. So I'm not going to call that a disengagement on the route because it was going down the map route. I would call a little bit of a ding on the planner choosing a pretty crummy path. But so far, the only disengagement I'm going to say was pretty critical was that one during the auto park. It's almost like its world was about parking. It wasn't thinking about driving anymore. I don't even know. I have to look back on there and see if you guys can see, was that car even mapped? Does the auto park mapping even have to deal with oncoming traffic in a 2-lane scenario, especially when you're parking in the middle of a road? I have to see if I can find another scenario. Maybe I'll get a parallel parking scenario up here on one of these roads and just do one of those also, since we do have a new function here. Interesting, we have a pedestrian up here waving this car through. He insisted on waiting, almost like a robo-taxi would, and then she crossed, and then we got the green light. So we almost got to see a scenario of a car acting like a robo-taxi would, where just giving way no matter what. All right. So here on these streets, this is an interesting example. You know, if I wanted to take one of these parallel spots on this kind of 2-lane road where cars are going 30 miles an hour, of course, to get auto park to work, I would need to slow down to 4 or 5 miles an hour, hit the button, and it would take quite a bit of time. Probably not the right place to do that slow of an auto park scenario. Obviously, you know, I don't live in any of these homes. I don't do that every day, but I can imagine auto park being kind of as slow as it is might not be optimal for that. Obviously, you know, if it slowed down, put its blinker on, allowed cars to go by, and then waited for a gap and did a maneuver, it could work like that. It'll be interesting to see how they try to implement that sort of functionality as they move closer and closer towards trying to implement autonomy. Yeah, you know, we got the Robotaxi event coming up in August 8th. Gosh, you know, that's only 3 months away. There's so much to happen between now and then, right? I guess that event will just kind of probably be the reveal of the Gen 3 Robotaxi platform. Maybe some discussion about release dates of when it might be available. I'm absolutely almost sure it will not be available anywhere near the actual event. Very, very, I don't think Tesla's ever released a car at a reveal date that was available. It was always posting about a release date. All right, no oncoming cars here in this kind of curve. Sometimes we do get a little bit of an encroachment on that double yellow line. We got a couple flashing yellows coming up. It should give us the opportunity to see how it behaves on this version with yellow lights that just kind of you yield to on days like today. There's just not enough traffic to deal with it. Trash can on the side of the road. We still don't have trash cans. They've been gone since version 11, I think. They used to have an asset for those, but I guess the occupancy network just isn't rendering those as trash cans any longer. All right. First flashing yellow behind the trees. I can see it. It mapped it very, very late. I was looking at it through the trees, but it continued straight through. Even once it saw it, it still put the red light on the screen. It's done that since the very beginning. Right on the 30-mile-an-hour marker here. Should take this right fork. Used a blinker, which is okay. And then a multi-way stop here with a slow creep, probably for visibility. There's our creep network. Okay, it's clear. Got to go around some big trucks here. No issue with that. And this will be a protected, unprotected left without an arrow once we get the green light. So far, it feels about the same as 12.3.4. I never got to drive 12.3.5 because I was in Germany the whole time. Okay, we have to give him right of way. Okay, he has the right of way, and we were taking it. I don't know if you can see that. So that's the second disengagement. We were the ones that had to yield. That car had its blinker on and the right of way. There's no reason that they should have had to stop for us. Pedestrians here on the right, they're stopped. No problem, but they're very close. Flashing yellows here. Tap of the brake there for the first time on that flashing yellow. I don't know why the brake tapped. Just a little bit of a tug. Okay, I've got a couple cars behind me, but this road is wide enough that I would like to try and find a spot to parallel park on this road. So I am going to disengage manually here. I'm going to put on a blinker and I'm going to slow down to try to force a parking scenario here and see if I can get it to do it. All right, and let's see if it'll do it. I just saw the spot. I'm over in the right. Those cars went around me. Let's see if so. It's marked it, but it won't do it. And there it is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit start. There's nobody behind me. And here's a parallel parking scenario. Well, it nailed the maneuver. I didn't really get a traffic scenario to see if you take that away, is it still, I think that screen is for my benefit, not its benefit. Okay. All right. So it did a good job. You kind of had to get it in the position a little bit more than perhaps the perpendicular parking. Now if I go to drive here, is it too close? It's not giving me, oh, let me see. What's it gonna do? It needs to back up to get out. Is it gonna back up? I don't think it is. So I think it could pull out and go straight, but it's not backing up. Wheels kind of doing some dancing here. Ooh, man, it's okay. Okay, it's completely pegged the steering wheel. So let me see if I give it a better start here. And let's see if it'll recage itself. All right, yeah. Okay, so it can't get out of a parallel parking scenario by reversing, it looks like. But that was fun. I don't think I've ever added that before. So there's a little bit more of the high fidelity park assist. I'm sorry, I do not have high fidelity. That is a little bit of the new auto park stack without the Vision high fidelity park assist. The high fidelity park assist has got the little Vision kind of color coded lines that it's using. I have ultrasonic sensors, so it doesn't need to do that. Okay, this car is almost acting like I was, like he wants to park. See if it's going to choose to go around or just wait. Looks like it's going to wait. Okay, and then into the traffic circle, and then it should just go right around. Let's see. It's got to roll it. Yep, that's good. It's got a lead car going really slow, so it's not very hard. Ooh, there's another parking spot I want to try. You see this spot right here? Let me see. Okay, there it is. P. Start. This one I have to pull forward for. Interesting. So this is a little different. The last one, it wasn't gray. Now I'm going to be a little bit more cautious to see. I'm in this little protected zone with a bike lane, so it's not as difficult. You can see the blobs, the occupancy network is mapping there. I think it's clear behind me. Is it going to get in there okay? Yeah, you can even see it's mapped out. It's back up and then go forward a little bit. Yeah, wow. I would say it's slow, but precise and accurate. It did a good job there. Yeah, so definitely an improved auto park with the ability of selecting spots in different locations. See what it'll do this time. I'm a little bit further away than I was last time. Let's see if it'll. I need to essentially just pull out. And see, it's marking this front car as a lead car. That might be my indicator. Every time that car turns black, it's thinking that's its controlling car. All right, so it's not even trying it. So I'm going to go ahead and back it up a little bit all the way to the back as far as I can to give it the room to pull out. And then we'll engage autopilot when we get it. All right, and we're clear to the left. Let's see if it'll go from here. It should be able to make it. Oh, it's not budging. It's got plenty of room. Okay, I'm just going to show you. I mean, basically, I just put my blinker on and I'd pull out. So I don't know why the Tesla was uncomfortable with that one. I would have thought it would have been fine. Okay, anyway, we got to see lots of parking on this version today since we got a new stack to play with and see how the selectors work. Traffic circle, he should be going, okay, this is gonna just roll to the right. No traffic to deal with there. We are going 16 and a 30. Feels uncomfortably slow. Uncomfortably slow. I don't know. I think I'm saying this on this road every single time. There must be something about that traffic circle that's just got it with some caution. Yeah, this is a wide road. Now it's up to 34. So that speed must have just been coming out of the traffic circle, coming around the corner and readjusting its auto speed. Maybe it's just being a little bit cautious there. All right, just a left-hand turn here. This should be protected with an arrow, it looks like. Shouldn't be too much to talk about here, but while we're kind of heading out here on Roosevelt, taking a left, we can start to kind of think back of what we saw. It feels like it's the same as 12.3.4. I did not get to drive 12.3.5, so I can't really compare to that, but most people said they couldn't really tell much, maybe the timidness. Obviously, the major regressions I noticed on the unprotected left-hand turns in traffic means I'll need to do a dedicated test for that if I can get some time. And did we just miss our green arrow? We just missed our green arrow. Now look, we're unprotected, so we've got to yield. Okay, good. It yielded. Okay, good, good, good. And then roll. Good. So it did that unprotected left just right. Was out in the intersection. There, give me my boost there. There we go. And then it waited, had its blinker on, and proceeded. Auto park is what I think this is about, both on the Ryzen AMD chips that have the high fidelity park assist edition, the Intel Atom chip that I have that does not have the high fidelity park assist, but the UI, the selection, I think the ability of selecting spots in front of you, more for various spots around you, pulling forward to get to a spot, that's a much better capability. And it did a good job calculating the trajectory to get into each of those spots. That one at Memorial Park, I felt like it was using its 3-point turn maneuver, but was ignoring oncoming traffic. That might be something we need some more use cases to tell whether or not it even had its traffic mind working at the time, or was it just focusing on the auto park maneuver? Obviously, it needs to do both if it's on a road or a traffic scenario. So I think this dot release is to get the park assist out there, auto park out there on all the stacks of cars that can handle it. Hopefully we're going to be going to the 2024 or .8 or greater build, so that we can get all of you on FSD trials that are just waiting for an update. And I hope Elon or Tesla AI, kind of bumps out that trial offer. It would really be a shame for those of you that wanted to trial and just couldn't get it because of the build order that we're all on with these releases. I think version 12 is doing a great job. It obviously has some things that at the beginning and end of the drives it needs to work on a little bit, but those functions just aren't here yet. The parking is good, but like you saw, it was able to pull forward to get into a parking spot or back up to get into a parking spot, but it couldn't back up to get out of a parking spot. It feels like maybe that auto park function isn't integrated into the version 12 stack, so it's treating them even to the effect of having a start button as a separate app almost, and a capability instead of a blended or integrated suite of end-to-end driving from origin to destination. So I don't know, I guess we'll just continue to see how it evolves. I'm really excited for another major point release, 12.4, 12.5. I'm a little, oh, look at it did. Okay, so it did that exact same thing again, easing into that lane and then back out before this lane. So I could have predicted that on the last one. We got a nice gap here that's closing fast. It needs to wait now. That was a good decision. Very small gap there. It should wait for, okay, and it did. And now the light turned yellow, but I'm out in the intersection and it committed. So that is the right decision, even though it's awkward. So it had gone beyond the line. It was in the intersection. It waited on the red light. Those cars were stopped, and then it went. So there we go, guys. 12.3.6. Lots of point releases on the .3 build, but we got auto park added. And for those of you with the Ryzen processor on the AMD chip, you've got high fidelity park assist. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.